Good morning, humanity. It's October 31, 2022, and it's the favorite time of the week because it's Halloween. Ho, ho, Halloween.
Oh man.
Oh, hello, everyone. I'm not really sure who I am.
I don't know, but what did you do with Paul?
Paul? Who's Paul?
Well,
Oh, there he is!
what a treat. What a treat.
Oh, yes, sirree. That was the trick and the treat. I am.
And the
That
treat.
was good. Hey, everybody! Happy Halloween! And this is BioTouch is spooky. Today, we're going to talk about how BioTouch is spooky. That's sort of a
It
weird.
can be.
That's a weird concept, isn't it?
It
So,
is. It
let's
is.
talk about what that could possibly mean at all.
Well, we use that word spooky like, ooh, right. But, personally, I can say there have been a couple times when, you know, I've entered into, as a practitioner or associate working with people, and they come back and tell me about some of the results. And I'm telling you, it spooks me out a little bit. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How can that be?
That's right. The whole idea that something so simple can be so effective is a spooky idea. It's like,
It is. And
what are
people
you
have
talking?
actually said that.
Right.
Yeah.
What is this? Some kind of magic you doing
Yeah.
here, or
Yes, it
are
is.
you putting a hex on me or something? A
Right.
hex of healing, we can call it.
Hey, you know what? I actually had somebody not too long ago say, "What did you do to me? Did you do some kind of voodoo?"
It's funny. It reminds me when we worked at Amityville, the drug rehab community there. This young fellow, every time we would work on them, we would go, "Thank you." And he finally one day goes, "I understand why you say thank you because you've done that touching. You've zapped all of me into you. So you're saying thank you." It's sort of like a vampire
Oh,
idea. And he just
wow,
sort of
that's
laughed
cool.
because he
Yeah,
felt so
but
good. But
yeah.
yeah, we have these kinds of weird things. We want to talk about some of the spooky situations that happen. I'll go first. Of
Okay.
course, we have the blind guy that came in, old Englishman. He was in his 80s. He'd been blind for over 20 years with pigmentosa retinosa, whatever it was called. And after a few months of working with him, he wrote and said how uh, he was shaving one day, and all of a sudden in the mirror was this spooky
Right.
looking guy, the most ugliest thing he'd ever seen, and it was him. All right, so
It was.
this spooky, yeah, I mean that's a perfect
Wow.
example. This thing shows up in the mirror, and it was him. He'd had this perfect moment of vision, and
Wow.
he had other moments of that too. But so that was pretty spooky. The fact that
That
a blind man was beginning to see.
right. Right, right. That's
So
crazy. I mean,
so
can you imagine?
so before Bev shares one of her stories too, if you've had a spooky situation with BioTouch, put it in the comments. It doesn't have to be a lot, just whatever you want to talk about, because it would be great to accumulate all the spooky reactions that have happened with BioTouch.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, you had one with a woman. You were on a walk with her or something.
Oh, yes, a lovely woman. When I was still living in Oregon, we were walking. I had just started doing BioTouch with her because she had a physical challenge that she was dealing with. And I had talked to her about, not only is the body going to respond to BioTouch, but there's this unfolding of what we call self-awareness that always takes place. She's like, well, that's kind of spooky. I don't even know what that means. And I'm like, well, okay. So we're out on a walk, and traditionally it was beginning to be summer. She had told me, oh, I hate summer. I always like stay in the house. I have no energy. I don't want to do anything. And we're walking one morning, and she says to me, something weird is going on. I'm kind of spooked here. And I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, well, I know I know that eventually my body's going to respond to BioTouch. I just have a feeling, but what is happening to me inside? Something is changing. And I'm like, what? And she goes, I don't have enough. I mean, my energy level is just over the top. I'm just making my jewelry and I'm getting out there and selling it and I'm just happy and I'm singing and I'm like, oh, she goes, some BioTouch, right? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying, but it could be. So that was quite a awakening for her, that self-awareness about, wow, something else is going on besides that body thing. And of course, she's the one that, had that mass inside of her
Right.
brain that was growing when I met her. And we started doing BioTouch. And from the end of May to the end of July, she was due to have her yearly MRI. She's like, I'm really, really frightened. I'm scared because this mass and it's starting to affect my hearing and my eyes. And the spooky thing is that she got a call from her doctor after the MRI.
Well, you
And
were on a walk with her, yeah?
no,
Oh,
this was a few weeks later.
oh.
And the three of us were sitting around having coffee, and she says, I have to take this call. And she comes back to the table and she just sits down and looks at the two of us and she goes, okay, something spooky's going on. That mass has shrunk. And she says, and before you say anything about you and Paul saying, well, it could be, I have my own
Wow.
ideas here.
Wow.
Yeah, that was, for me, we all cried, of course. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's spooky.
yeah.
So we have, well, Paula has a spooky thing here. She said, I had a session Saturday. Thanks, Paul. And when I was lying in bed that night, I felt powerful white light surrounding me. The event was so strong and amazing. Spooky.
There you go, girl.
So,
Healing journey.
yeah. So we had another spooky event that we had in Mancus. A guy he was a farmer. He was driving his truck down a county road, uh, and it got plowed in by a big pickup truck and
Wow.
severed his neck. Was paralyzed. When we met him, he had gone through months and months of physical therapy, so he had actually was able to waddle, couldn't button or unbutton shirts, couldn't use his fingers very well, used a cane, um, could only sit on the bed, barely. I think we even had to have him be in a chair. Anyhow, the short of the story was one day he came in and he said that after years of not being able to get on his tractor, he was able to get up into his tractor. And we all cried. We just started crying because
Oh, yeah.
that was his life. And he
Right.
actually started to be able to button and unbutton his shirts. He could roll over on the bed. He could get on it, lay down, roll. I mean, so those kinds of things were just like, what? You just sort of go, what?
You do. I just getting ready to go, huh?
I
What?
know. It's like, you
It's
know, it's like, it's like there's no words for it, you
There's no
know?
worth for it. And yet, how many testimonials do we have in those books at the center, Paul? How
Oh,
many testimonials on our website? I mean, and you still go, what, when I tell you things.
yeah. Yeah, and and I think that's the beauty of it. You
Yeah,
never assume it's going to work.
right.
You never
Absolutely.
assume. Every time someone new comes into the center, I go, "Oh, is this going to work again?"
I
You
know.
know,
It's
it's
That's our human nature, right?
yeah. And
We question.
I think that's good. I
I think
like
it's
that about the
healthy.
BioTouch presentation is we're not sure. You know,
Right.
we're not working on some belief system,
Right.
you know,
Yep.
and to see those results, it's spooky. It's like Halloween, and Halloween's not this god awful thing. We all love Halloween.
I
We are
know.
joyous. We go to the spook houses and we dress the kids up and we walk down. It's a joyous time, the spooky time of the year. It's sort of weird.
It is weird, but it's true.
and
We
and so
love spooky.
and so that's sort of how BioTouch is. It's spooky, it's weird, but it's so much fun to do.
Oh,
So we
yeah.
have another sort of spooky one. Why don't you talk a little bit about Rose and Larry? Because she used to talk to
Oh
you a lot
boy,
about that.
for all of us, I think the most amazing thing is that we were able to be on this journey with both of them. And we know Larry, had a couple of major strokes before Rose found BioTouch, had reached the level of they didn't know what else to do. She found BioTouch online, went and became a member. She says $18 and I can have the whole ebook and I can teach myself how to do this. And she started working with Larry. She asked him, "You want to go on a weird journey with me, a spooky journey called BioTouch?" He goes, "Why not? What do we have to lose?" When she came in to the center, I was working that day, and she just sat down in the chair and she goes, "I have a story for you. It's weird, but I have a story." And she told me about what's happening. And at that point, just after 2 months of working with her husband, he had already started to respond. And as we watched them, as we know, Rose became certified. She became a staff member. She said, "I have to give back." Because not only did Larry, my gosh, she says, "My gosh, I heard noise out in the backyard and he is weed eating the backyard. He couldn't even move his arm." I'm like, that is spooky. Okay. But the most amazing thing, and we say this all the time, it's a relationship of healing. Rose, their personal relationship totally changed. I mean, huh?
Right.
What does that got to do with anything? It's crazy.
Yeah, she said they'd never really felt that kind of love in their
Oh,
relationship, and they'd been married over 50 years,
yes.
you know,
Yes,
and BioTouch really brought a spark to their
she did.
relationship.
I remember the day in the session room after a session that she was working with me. She was telling me, and we both just cried. You do. BioTouch makes us cry.
Right,
We get
right.
so spooked out, we just start crying.
And so that brings us to the next point about the spookiness of self-awareness. You know,
Oh,
BioTouch is a journey in self-awareness, a
oh boy.
recognition of ourselves in relationship to our surroundings. And
Yep.
that first surrounding that we really have cut ourselves off from is our own body, is
Right.
our own awarenesses, is our own dark little
Yep.
corners. And BioTouch just seems to bring that up in order for us to heal. And that's very spooky to people.
Well, it shines the light. Remember our show a couple
Right.
weeks ago. BioTouch can shine the light into that scary, spooky darkness within ourselves. That's what self-awareness is.
And so we have many people who they'll start, they'll come in and they'll start feeling better and better and better. And then all of a sudden, we don't see them.
And that's spooky, Paul.
Yeah.
For us as
For us,
associates,
yeah.
what do we all, I mean, all of us have had that, and we always go to the first thing, right? I didn't do enough.
Right.
I didn't share BioTouch as much as I could have. It's, we take it in. And that for me was when that happened to me, I felt so, oh, felt like I had let that person down,
Right.
you know?
So Jenny just posted her spontaneous correction of a detached retina right before I
Oh,
was scheduled for eye surgery, even though it wasn't really a detached retina. It was a macular pucker, is what they
pucker.
call it. But they was going to have to do major surgery. We were all ready, and the day before the surgery,
Wow.
um, and we just done BioTouch just once a night. It takes, I didn't even take a minute, and we were mostly getting ready just to do the surgery. And we go in the
Right.
day before, and the guy says, "Well, I don't know. Have you been seeing better?" And she goes, "Well, I thought so, but I thought it was just my mind, spooky. It was just
Right.
spooky,
Right.
right?"
Right.
And he said, "Well, this is actually improved, and we can cancel the operation." So,
Oh my gosh.
and some
And you
interest.
both cried.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was such a relief.
Oh
It
my
was spook.
gosh. I
It was a
can't even.
spooky feeling that, wow, you
Yes.
prepared yourself, and all of a sudden deflated. It's like, whoa, my God. And another thing just happened with her too. I mean, we've been working on her eyes too, and her ears, just all these things that start in our elder years, not
Right.
functioning.
Oh yeah.
She went in for her ear thing, and it'd been 2 or something years or something since her ear had been tested. Didn't Hasn't gotten worse at all.
Wow.
Yeah. So, these kinds of things, these simple little things that we're not even looking for results. We just go, okay, let's just do it. It can't hurt. And maybe it's going to help. And over and
Yeah.
over and over, we keep seeing how it
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like your brain cannot handle the the result of whatever we've been that's been happening. It's almost like, what? That's why we say what? It's just kind of like a little much to handle, that something like that light loving
Right.
touch can explode into your life. It
So,
may be
so it's
gentle, but wow.
it's funny. It reminds me of the headless horseman that you experienced at
Oh
that
yeah,
haunted
boy, that
house.
was awesome.
That, here's a guy comes up on a horse and he's holding the head right in his hand.
Yeah.
That's what BioTouch is like. It's as spooky as the headless horseman. It's like, how
Right.
can this guy be riding around on a horse while he's holding his head here?
Hold in his head. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's amazing.
So
It's
that's what
quite a
BioTouch
journey.
is. We're like the headless horseman.
We are.
All you have to do is try it. It might be spooky, but it's sure a hell of a lot of fun. So, on this Halloween for trick or treating,
Treat yourself.
with 2 fingers, reach out and touch
Treat
your
somebody
family.
else.
When they come to the door, go trick or treat.
Right. Lift your
Lift your
shirt
shirt a
like
little.
you're reading. And
So,
they'll be running away.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that is spooky. So we just want to let you know we have a workshop coming up. If you want to learn, not a workshop, a whole training. It's going to be November 15th. That's a Tuesday. And we encourage you to want to learn BioTouch. And if you don't want to do that, just download the first 10 pages and just do the greeting. Just doing the greeting can help. It can just bring you into that present moment just for a moment as you get ready to figure out, what the hell am I going to do with the rest of my day? That's a spooky thought.
There's a spooky thought for sure.
So anyhow, let's see, where are we here? Oh, I can't. It's way back there. I was going to get my
You
little...
threw it.
Here. Here's my spooky
The
thing.
jester has left the room.
The jester.
The bozo has left the room.
Yeah, we're all bozos on the boat. We appreciate
Right.
sharing BioTouch with you, whether it's spooky or fun. Please reach out and touch someone. And thank you for
Oh,
letting us
definitely.
come into your homes, everybody. Have a happy Halloween,
Happy
whatever you're doing.
Halloween.
Bye, Beb. See you later.
Okay, Paul. Thanks, everyone.
If pain has got you down and you live in town, take a trip down to Pima Street. The people down there are people who care. They will get you back on your feet. Put love into action. Put love into action. If you ever want to have any real satisfaction, choose love while you still can. Don't even try to understand the healing grace in your own hands. Put love into action. I know you have heard these beautiful words. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Using BioTouch will help you so much. You'll never need anything else. Put love into action. Put love into action. If you ever want to have any real satisfaction, choose love while you still can. Don't even try to understand the healing grace in your own hands. Put love into action.